Got the Partywave Plus and the Partywave. These are the boards I kind of got started on Bataleon. I originally was riding a 57 Partywave, or I think it was even the 54. They came out with the Plus version, and that's kind of was my stock standard. And then this year they did a full redesign of the tail and the board. And last year I rode the Camel 2 for a season, but day one I created a baseline, and I just rode this board yesterday. The Plus version, I'm gonna recap this at the end, but as far as I know, I think it's just like a stiffer version. This used different materials, and this is the softer one. I'm hyped to try this one today and kind of get a feel for like what the difference is. But yeah, I'm super like graphics on this one. I mean, I'm personally like kind of a fan of like the clean, simple graphic, but this one is pretty sick, and the base is definitely a lot better for shooting and whatnot. But we got this thing. It's called the Bataleon Surfer. It's a pretty specialty board. I rode it one day in Chile. We have a couple clips from there, but it was super icy. Wasn't really the conditions for it, but I do remember being stoked on just like how well this board held its edge. And I'm actually excited to ride this in the terrain it was kind of built for, which I think is POW. And yeah, this is full specialty board, but from the people I've heard who've rode it a lot, they've been super stoked. And I think it's kind of like similar to a Partywave, but it's obviously got a lot more setback, and kind of interested how this just this flex point even works. But we'll circle back on that one. Hyped to test these out, and we'll come back with some data. But I think for all these videos, I'm just gonna run 18.0 for the stance, and I'm gonna run it at reference, which I'm not sure exactly what the width is, but we can look up those stats and throw those in here. But yeah, try and give you guys an unbiased review what these two feel like, and then we're gonna do the Goliath Plus. Then we'll kind of do a video with all 5 of the boards. Dude, the soft board is like so fun for just a little woohoo. It's like so surfy. Like on the Plus, it's definitely more aggressive. You can't. Soft board, it's what you want for this. You don't want aggressive. You can do it, but so fun. Even this. Ha, the tail's so fun. Just whoop. I like the soft board if I was gonna be riding and filming terrain like this, because I want it to be like playful in the little nooks and crannies so you don't catch. But if I was trying to do more high speed chatter, moguls, like bigger freestyle or free ride terrain, the Plus model for sure. Or if you just want to be more aggressive on your board. But super cool to like feel the difference between them. feels so good to be on the party plug again. The party plug is sick. Partywave, I mean, wow. So sick. This is all time. Oh yeah. Oh, dude, it's freaking dick deep out here. What the fuck? Ah! Can't even go fast enough. The party platter, dude. Oh, oh, I'm getting face shots by just stepping, dude. Yeah. Battalion surfer kind of day. I know this tail might seem pretty unorthodox, maybe a little scary at first, but I can promise you it holds good. Super fun wiggle where your back foot is kind of planted, you know, on the back half of the board. So for POW, super sick, keeps you very centered with the nose up. And then for these, like what we're gonna ride right now, it's like a burn run through the trees, but it's super sick for kind of high speed, quick turns, kind of having to pivot on the fly. Super surfy, called the surfer for a reason. I you know, am a little kind of diehard surfer myself, and I don't think that everybody should be so scared of the fun shapes, because you can ride this board most of the time. Little pivots, super fun. So rad. No, this thing is sick for just like navigating through stuff. You can kind of turn on a pinch. Yeah. Whoa. Oh! Wow. Kind of blew that. This is the ultimate wiggle test. Wow, that was insane. You want the wiggle factor on that. That's prime time wiggling. Hey, see, people talk shit on these boards. I couldn't ride like that on a normal board.
I think it's probably really fun.
Because I'm just doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
Back in Revelstoke, we kind of shot the beginning of this video, but I was going to compare the normal Partywave, the Partywave Plus right here, and I figured since I was riding it quite a bit in Revy that we would also include the Surfer. I kind of look at these three boards as all like the same family, like wider, more set back, and there's really fun snowboards. But I think after kind of riding all of them extensively, it was cool because like in Revelstoke, the snow was like super creamy, soft. I was riding the normal Partywave on all the side hits. It just felt super fun and surfy and really playful. I never like had any issues with the stiffness of it. It was super fun, super playful, like really fun for just like pop and bop, and it was like easy to wiggle and had a really good time on it. And then the first 2 days in Revelstoke, I rode the Surfer, and I really like the Surfer because it's like this back binding is set at reference, and on the Surfer it's like where you're back binding in it is maybe like a little more set back, and you kind of have that like huge swallowtail. But I thought it was like the best board I've ever rode for like in the POW, just like wiggling through tight trees. Like you can just really like base off your back foot. And it was super rad for doing follow cams with Sage on the Max. Definitely thought that the Surfer was the funnest board I'd ever rode in like that type of snow. The normal Partywave is definitely more of like a trickable board or like an all-around board. Like if you're on the resort going switch, or like, you know, you just want like a fun board to ride, I would recommend the Partywave. If you're looking for like a specific POW board where you're not really going to be going switch too much and you're riding through treed terrain, or, you know, like kind of low POW, you're not really popping off things, you're kind of staying on the ground, I thought the Surfer was just like one of the most unique fun boards I'd ever ridden. I'd say for like 90% of people it's like the Partywave. And then if you kind of want like an extra board in your quiver, you're looking for like a POW specific board for like tight treed terrain and like a super loose surfy feel. The Surfer is like straight up one of my favorite boards I've ever rode, and I'm definitely going to be using that board anytime I do backcountry follows or like treed terrain or anything. And I think like the one thing I'll say about the Partywave is like if you're really trying to crank like carved turns, like heel side and toe sides, like just the softness of the board, like not in a bad way, but if you're on like really firm snow, it might shatter a little bit, like firm icy snow. Whereas like that's where like, and this is for really aggressive snowboarding, but that's where the Plus kind of helps, because this like Plus board is basically just a super stiff version of the Partywave. I just noticed, it's not that it's not as fun, it just takes, I think, a way more advanced rider to have fun on it. And I just noticed, just like whether it's doing little tail presses or like throwing like little surfy turns, this thing's just got more power behind it. And like, so I think if you're like hitting park jumps or, you know, proper like cliffs or backcountry, this board is kind of a go-to if you're like a really aggressive, experienced rider. The snow, like where it's been really icy on this like kind of side hit run, I was really able to like lock into my heel edge and like hold my edge with no chatter. And that I was super stoked on the Plus version. In the Partywave and the Plus version, they're both really sick boards if you have a bigger foot. Like if you have like a size like 11, 12, 13, 14, most snowboards are really hard to find that don't have any toe and heel drag. And these things have a 28 centimeter waist width. So like I've had friends with a size 14 foot that say they've never had as much fun on a snowboard like this, because most of the time if they're trying to turn, like their toes or heels drag. That's kind of the review. I've been riding those boards now for like the last month, so I feel like I have like a good understanding on just like everything about those. So if there's any questions, comments, whatever on these boards, you got anything you want me to answer, put those in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. And then for everybody, I've been riding the Fly binding. Last year I was on the Astros. Those were my pro model binding last year. These ones are pretty sick. They're a really simple binding, which I'm a big fan of. Similar to like a Burton Cartel or something, but it's just like an all plastic shell with steel high backs and then bit of flex in the high back. I've never been the biggest fan of like the stiffest bindings. The soft bindings are kind of fun for like tweaking grabs and just like having a more surfy feel. So like this setup right now that I'll probably take the X Games and Locks Open, it's a stiffer board with a softer binding. I ride a pretty stiff boot, and then I don't know, that's just kind of like my setup that I like to run. But yeah, that's kind of it for the comparison between the three. Hopefully like in the next month I'll have a bit of information on the Goliath and the Beyond board and kind of your more traditional snowboard, and have a bit more feedback for you on that. But over and out.